afternoon, everybody, from myself and James. Thank you for being here, James. I changed the time by 15 minutes, y'all. So let's be extra nice to James in the comments today.
You don't have to be extra nice to me. I've made it home just in time. So y'all are all right with me. Like, comment, and subscribe.
Also, while you are at it, please check the link in the description of this video and all the videos that myself and James do on each of our channels. We always include links to other people's channels, as well as a link to our new channel, which is titled Watch Your Best Friends. So I do hope that everybody gets the opportunity to tune into that channel as well. But we are here today to go over the Valley. I'm giving it a chance, and at this point, I'm 7 episodes into the season, so I have the attitude of finish what you start. So that's what I'm going to do. But I cannot promise those who do enjoy the Valley Persian Style recaps, I cannot promise that we'll recap season 2 unless season 1 leaves us with a cliffhanger so big that I just have to follow up with season 2. Other things I'll do, and I'm considering, if James is okay with it, is doing pre-recorded videos where we just kind of give our opinions. It'll be a quicker format than a live. I wouldn't want it to be longer than 20 minutes where me and James just give our opinions on the episode, but definitely not going to continue the Valley to this capacity after season 1. The regular Valley, yes, the Valley Persian Style. And I was rooting for them because it is a cast of color. They count as a minority. I think if you Black, you should root for any minority, honestly, as long as
at this point, yeah.
At this point, right?
Yeah.
But I'm just a little bored. Me and James were talking about it earlier, and he said something that made a lot of sense that he's been saying. The show doesn't really, if I'm summing his words up, have direction. It's all over the place. And he compared it to the other Valley, which was smart. And the other Valley, which is a spinoff of Vanderpump Rules VPR, which I was a super fan of, they did not grow up privileged. And I think that it helps with the show. So shout out to James for his, his sense of wisdom.
Oh, of course, because that show set the standard in the forum. So when the standard in the forum go in a misdirection, like what we saw, especially in this episode in particularly, yeah, it is something that we can't connect with because this is supposed to be regular, everyday people. But we're seeing some of them work hard, and then we're seeing some of them that want to mooch off of parent and 2-week spouses. Like, I don't understand it. I just don't, So pardon me for my ignorance to this part of the Valley. I just didn't think that existed.
Honestly, Shaws of Sunset it was a little bit better, I think, because when you're younger, you can accept this behavior, but at the age that this cast is, a lot of what they're doing I cannot accept. Let me get my notes open, child. I'm opening my phone looking for the note, and I'm like, wait a minute, y'all. I never opened the note. I have every other app open though, which is crazy. Look at my life. We start this episode with REZA-LUTION, who is another person who I actually like. And I get the role that they're having him play with this group. I just wish he was with a different cast. Like if REZA was on the regular Valley, I think he would do okay.
I agree.
Yeah, but on this cast, he doesn't give the way that I would like him to.
He literally is what he was in the scene, which was the purse holder. Like, he literally is that. And I'm just like, y'all are messed up for this. Like, he has a purpose. Like, don't get me wrong. He is comedic relief on a lot of this. So I do appreciate him for that. But at the same time, it's like, okay, y'all need a better mediator if y'all really going to use someone in that capacity. Because to me, this wasn't it.
Yeah, I kind of agree. And James pretty much sums up what happens, kind of. So Tannen, REZA has been out to eat with Sky. Did not tell Sky that Tannen was arriving. He wants them to resolve their friendship. He doesn't want there to be an issue. And his way of doing that is taking their purses and dipping. He said they have to talk to each other and they cannot leave if he has their purse, which was it was brilliant. It was a smart strategy. Unless you're dealing with a Bay Area woman who would have snatched that purse out of your hand and pushed you. It can't make me stay nowhere.
Okay, for real.
Okay.
Like they wouldn't care what label that was. Get my damn purse.
Bay Area, Chicago, okay, Florida.
They was way too nice.
Right. I would have got, you ain't taking my purse. Oh no, absolutely not, sir. But you know, he dips off. Sky and Tannen talking. Tannen's kind of like, well, since you're the one who got ganged up on and seems to have the problem with everybody, you should start, which was fair. And Sky says that she feels like Greg was really hard on her and started the beef between her and Tannen with how he was speaking at the table. Now, we all know that that is not what happened because we did watch how the beef started. However, Sky is self-centered and Sky is a classic case of confirmation bias. She's going to look for whatever is going to align with her perspective, her viewpoint. That's all she cares about. She doesn't care about nobody else. She's told us that. She's literally telling us she doesn't care. So the topic of Sky talking about everyone's beneath her comes up because Tannen explains, like, you know, it was REZA actually who started this beef, which I enjoyed. Because it was REZA who was talking mad stuff to Sky. And again, gay men, this is why you should not. I get that gay men tend to have a lot of female friends. I get that. It makes sense. However, just because you have a female friend, you are still a man, REZA, and you need to stop stirring the pot that these women are going through, and you need to not talk to women so aggressively. Even though Bombshot should have stood up for his wife, REZA did like go in on her. And it's like when everybody else was going in, he didn't have to do all of that. I was here for him saying she worked at a restaurant though. Don't forget.
Right. No, it was a way to humble her. And I do agree with you. I feel like even that scene there where he was trying to bring her back down to Humble Land, I feel that, yeah, it's amazing how she has selective memory and wouldn't even think to say, yeah, REZA did start it because after we had this argument, he then follows me to the room and continues to barbade me even more. So that's amazing that she has that much of a selective memory to key point just the small 2 points that Greg made at that table versus the whole read session that REZA gave her. I thought that was amazing that she had that selective memory. Wow,
you know what
Sky.
It is, though? You know what it is? I'm glad you brought that up because all it is, he knows shit about her. And she don't want that shit to come out. So I feel like she has not come for him fully because based on him reminding us of the name of the restaurant she worked at, and I'm pretty sure it's probably a hole in the wall, little Persian spot somewhere in the valley, it takes away from what she's trying to sell. So that's a good point. But good for you, Tannen, for reminding her of that because I don't know why I was a little concerned with how Tannen would handle her. But we have to remember, Tannen is a CEO of a company, a huge company. So when I see a woman that is a CEO, because that's a male-dominated career, as quiet as kept. When I see a woman that's a CEO, to me, she has bigger balls than all the male CEOs that are around because she has to go through a lot. Like when you're a woman in a career in general, I feel like sometimes depending on your role, you'll deal with ignorance from men of all sorts. So yeah, I feel like Tannen can hold her own in that regard. Now, Tannen explains to Sky, she's like, you have to understand, everything got so heated because you make the comments and you treat people and interact with them as if they are beneath you. And Sky said, they are beneath me. And she uses the excuse of saying they're beneath her because they're ganging up on her and she would never do something like that to someone. So that makes them beneath her. But baby girl, Miss Sky,
that's not how
Tannen was talking to you about how they felt outside of that incident. Even outside of that isolated incident, that gang up, these people have been telling you that they don't like that you treat them like you're beneath they're beneath of you. They don't like it, especially when your wealth come from your husband, not yourself. Let's just call a spade a spade. So I'm looking at Sky and I'm like, okay, you're going to double down on that. So Tannen apologized for talking to REZA about her feelings on Sky's dog. And I can understand the apology the only part of the apology I can understand is I'm not going to call Kiwanje TV or Shayna _ MCD TV and complain to them if I start, I don't know, a hair care line of braiding hair and James crochets that shit into his poodle's hair. Like, I'm not going to go and talk to other people that are mutual with my friend about an issue I have with them. That's messy in general. Like, even if it doesn't come out, I just don't think that that was the right thing to do. So I was glad that Tannen apologized for that. Sky eventually apologized for taking things too far, but Sky didn't really take accountability for anything. And she said in her confessional after, my feelings are still same. So your feelings are still same. That means you still don't think that you're wrong. And what's going to happen is you're going to get to a point where you're going to run out of people willing to deal with your shit, especially in California when everyone's busy. And you're just going to run out of friends. And you're going to have your kids and your husband who don't seem to like you either. That's all I think will happen. But how did you feel about their talk?
To me, and this is going to be a far reach from what I'm, just kind of a general statement to me. I feel like Sky gets intimidated by people who are above her and the way that she goes after them, because to me, yeah, Tannen was wrong for that, but at the end of the day, you're wrong for not being accountable for your part too. At least she was able to own that, oh yeah, maybe I shouldn't have ran my mouth. My bad, girl. You, on the other hand, feel like because she, paid for your jewelry at a discount, that you were doing her favors to humble her, when at realistic cost, you should be thankful that anybody, I don't care if they paid $5 for your shit. You should be thankful that she even went to bat to buy your catalog of the 10 pieces we saw. So I'm just saying, like, for me, I feel like she's so intimidated, and you could tell, like, she's intimidated by Tannen. Like, it's so there. And Tannen, this makes me question, like, why you don't see this, because her slip was showing all through that little conversation. And the fact that I think you were clocking it, but you didn't want to go there with her on TV. And I get it. I do get it. But at the same time, you got to teach people how to treat you, baby. I get you a CEO, but she wouldn't have played in my face like that. I'm sorry. She wouldn't have.
I think Tannen has the attitude of, I'm not going to deal with her after. Because she kept saying throughout the episode of Things Don't Change in their friendship, as it relates to Sky, that she'll be done. But I agree with what you're saying, because people do what the fuck you allow them to do to you. And that is a true statement. And while we cannot control what somebody does, James could he won't, because he wasn't raised that way, but James could just holler off at the mouth and start calling me all types of black bitches and reading me for filth if he felt like it. Like, people can switch up on you at any moment, and you can't control that. But what you can control is when somebody do change up on you and come at you crazy, you could say, listen here, you wide back, disabled tooth looking ass bitch. You better watch who you talking to, or go away from me.
Right.
With the Phaedra, go away.
Because Sky gonna have to, Tannen gonna have to do that to Sky, because that's always Sky gonna know, because all she gonna do is run. So you got to send her running. You have to. Women like her, no, you got to let her know, because the problem is that she's making it seem like she's the victim when she's the culprit. Like, so you got to let her know, no, you're not a victim, sweetie. I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on in your household to make you feel like this, but you're not a victim in this. You equally cause havoc the same way you're accusing me of causing havoc with you. We're equal partners in this. I just took accountability and apologized to your ass for mine. Now, where the fuck is my apology? Well, she did apologize, but where the fuck is the accountability part? What are you apologizing for? Right. That's all I need to know. Like, what is the apology? And what I need, and nowadays I'm getting to a point now, I need sentences with apologies right after. I do. When you say I apologize, I'm gonna be like, and for, and when, and what? Unless
you apologize to me right after you fucked up, I agree. Because if it takes some time, that means it took you some time to realize that you needed to apologize. And I need to hear a sentence so I can figure out if you came to that realization on your own, or if somebody else told you to. Because if somebody else told you to, I don't want it. You can have it.
Exactly.
Like, we only want the genuine ones. But I do wish that Tannen would have dug a little deeper and done more, because if she did, it would have showed her what she, ended up saying, I'm just going to wait and see and hope it gets better. And
well, it would have validated waiting and see, because what are you waiting to see for? She's already, as you can see, not willing to budge on this. So
she made the comment that Bumshad and Sky, they don't have family like that in the Valley. So they just have the friend group that they have. And that's part of how they became so close with Greg and Tannen. If these people took you in the way family would, and that's a big thing
that's
in
even
Persian
worse.
Culture, it's even worse, Sky.
Yeah, that's
so
even
Sky
worse,
can't be for nothing. That's why the cast reading her for filth online. But y'all, the next thing that we have to go over is MJ, Mercedes, and Tommy, their conversation. MJ is the example of not doing plastic surgery and just losing the weight naturally, because my God, honey, you are botched, and I'm saying it. And she was a beautiful girl every time they show playbacks of her. And I used to think this on Shaws of Sunset. Too much plastic surgery is not cute. And I wish MJ would stop touching herself. So I feel like the more she touches her face, the more her neck looks inflated. And I'm tired of it. I can't look at it no more. And she can dress. And she seems sweet. But she looks plastic and it's not cute. I'm sorry. But she talks to Tommy, who we know today she's filed for divorce from, thank God. And she is a real estate agent. She's working for the agency. It is a terrible market right now to buy in general. But in California, when the market is bad, it's really fucking bad. So nobody's buying out here right now. It's a fact. Not the rich, not the poor. Nobody's really purchasing right now, except for people not the smartest, if we're keeping it real. And MJ is not selling houses because of it. And I think it's even harder for MJ because she's in luxury real estate. I feel like it will be easier to sell when it's not luxury real estate. Why, may you ask? Because in luxury real estate, you're dealing with buyers that usually are familiar and understand and have the credit scores to negotiate interest rates and to wait and things like that, compared to regular real estate in California. If it's not a developer purchasing it, it's likely a regular person who's just trying to have the American dream. Hell. So I get her struggle. I thought it was realistic of her to show that she hasn't been selling houses, but California is also an extremely competitive real estate market. I have learned that because I'm interested in getting my broker license. So I've been looking into some things. Doesn't really impact me too much as a broker, but then it does because I have to work with agents. But I definitely feel like California is competitive with real estate, but I think Southern California is even more competitive. It's competitive up here in the Bay Area too, but I don't know why. I just feel like depending on where you are, like SoCal as a whole is competitive. But her and Tommy are struggling. She lets us know that she's been footing the bill. So I'm thinking Tommy's making money from this podcast. I think we were all thinking that that was his job. But it's not. He doesn't have one. MJ is floating everything, footing the bill, paying the mortgage, paying the bills for this man to teach her child how to disrespect her, refuse to go around her friends, and talk crazy about her to her mama. And you footing the bill? Okay, MJ, I guess. But she tries to discuss Tommy not coming to the events and around the group. And as soon as she mentions it, he's like, we're not doing this, and starts hollering. Shut the hell up, Tommy. Just because you yell doesn't mean it's going to make the conversation go away. Grow up and stop acting like your child. Stop acting like champs. It's not going to stop anything. And Tommy basically gets upset and says to MJ that he does not like her friends and to get over it. He is mad that because of his beef with Reza that he had to go to jail. And he went to jail because of his own shit. You went to Reza's house in a nice neighborhood and you tore up his garden, which I plant things. I have a garden in my house. We would fight. Like, you're not about to be tearing up my rose bushes and lavender plants. No, sir. Absolutely not. He tore the house up, dragged him. And I understand that Reza had said something inappropriate about, I believe it was MJ having, like, dealing with terminating a pregnancy or something like that some years ago. And you can defend your woman without doing all of that, though. You didn't have to tear his house up. Your actions got you in trouble, Tommy. And for you to blame that on anybody else is crazy. Nobody made you do that. James could call my spouse all types of broke bitches right now. That doesn't mean I have to go tear up his property. I never understand people who do that. Like, my spouse will tell y'all I'm not a person that will get mad and break your stuff. Like, people work for this stuff. Don't go destroying property. I think that's childish. But Tommy lacks accountability, yells at MJ, and she tries to explain to him that she comes through for him, shows up to his events, is always there for him, and she feels like what she puts out, she's not getting back. And I said, oh, okay, I see why you divorced. And Tommy's response to everything is like, nobody's stopping you. Go be happy. He pretty much said, you go do you, and he gonna do him. And that is not how it works in a relationship at all. It doesn't work that way. Yes, independent happiness is important, but you also have to make sure that each of you are happy in your relationship as well as people. So I don't know what's wrong with Tommy, but how did you feel about their first talk? Because we're going to have to go through another one.
So this is how I feel. Now that I know that he ain't footing the bill for nothing, he ain't paying no bills, because I thought she was living off of him. I didn't know it was the other way around. So now that I know that it's the other way around, sir, excuse me, you don't get to call no shots here if I'm footing the bill. If I tell your ass to get up and come on, we got to go to this event to make this money, you going to get your ass up and come on, make this event. Just don't say nothing to the motherfucker. That's how I feel. Like, ignore him if it really does bother you that bad. But once again, you mad over shit you did. Didn't nobody tell you to take your ass over his house and go fuck up his shit and then go to jail? Nobody told you to do that. I don't care how mad you get. Because you have to understand, what people have to understand is that regardless of him feeling away with him defending his woman, Reza and MJ have, at that time, a 20-year friendship. So having a 20-year friendship, there's going to be ups and downs. Did he say something that was disrespectful? Yes. But at the same time, have your feelings, keep your distances. But that doesn't mean you become like vigilant and erotic and furious and
people without destroying the property.
Right.
Like, the action that he did not match like what Reza did at all. Like,
not only did it not match, but it wasn't even necessary because they ended up making up anyway.
So it was all for nothing.
Which
is crazy on MJ's part, just from a wife's perspective.
Yeah, it is.
Like, from a wife's perspective, if my man gets mad that someone exposed something about me that I was hurt about and then goes and fucks up their house, I'm going to let him know in private that he's wrong, but I'm not going to make up with the person after my spouse has gone to jail defending me. I'm not. 20 years or not, you got to side with your husband. And the fact that she didn't side with her husband lets me know that this marriage has been fractured for years. Or
she thinks of Reza more than she thinks of Tommy. Like, that's kind of how I look at it.
The only way that you would think of a friend of 20, 40, any years, the only way you think of your friend as more than your spouse is if your marriage is fractured. That's the only way. Because
I agree with you. I feel like that is kind of fucked up in the sense that he went through all of this, and then you still ended up making up with him. Like, it's one thing
back on TV hanging out, like,
right. It's one thing if I have to be around you. Yeah, I could be cordial. It's like, but to then go back to that friendship after all of this, she wasn't in.
Yeah,
she wasn't into Tommy.
I do feel like, and a lot of people may be like, "Damn, Mrs., why would you say that?" I'm not saying Tommy's not wrong, but we review the shows. Even if we don't like people, we have to look at it from both sides. And that could be how he feels, because it sounds like after this happened, that's where the affection and things changed in their relationship, because he probably didn't feel supported. But he has to understand, just because you don't feel supported once, like, doesn't mean that you can just go and say F it to your wife. And like, no. But.
And was it ever revealed? Because I didn't watch. Was it ever revealed that of her feelings about what Reza did? Like, did she ever express that? Any type of emotion pattern was she just cool with it because it came from him?
No, they had beef on Shaw's for a long time because of it, and it looks like everyone's kind of grown up and worked past stuff. But it's not like she was happy about it. That's why Tommy went off.
Okay, because I was trying to find more reasoning. I didn't watch Stars of Sunset, so even though I was like, okay, well, dude, you kind of did it to yourself and went overboard. But then I was like, well, then what was her response? Was she irate, angry, and then maybe that could have contributed to his emotional part, because that is his wife, and he could have been talking about a situation they were both in together. That's what I'm saying. I needed more context, and I was like, because like you said, we're trying to be objective to both people, Reza and Tommy. So for me to be objective to him, I needed to know what was her response to it.
Don't get me wrong. Reza didn't deserve to get his house and his property destroyed, but Reza does too much and definitely does deserve somebody to cuss him out or read him for filth.
Oh no, absolutely. But I think that's what I wish Tommy would have did. I wish Tommy, if you was gonna do anything, you could have came on these cameras and cussed him the fuck out, and it would have been validated.
Yeah. And
versus you and left it there versus you going and fucking up his shit. Like that's where I said, like, you could have just waited to cuss him out on camera and embarrass the fuck out of him so he'll know how it feels. But you know, that's how I do.
Smart. Dumb New York. Sorry. Next thing we see, y'all, Reza, he honors his father. His father passed away. We saw him on Shaw's. I'm not gonna go over the scene. I wish him condolences. I thought it was sweet. He took his father's ashes, and it's a company for $28,000. They will turn the ashes of your loved one into jewelry made out of like diamonds, carbon, things like that. There's a process. Awesome. I'm not discussing the scene. I don't feel like there was much to discuss there. I'm just going to move forward. MJ announces later that she is selling Gigi's sister Layla's house. For those who did not watch Sounds of Sunset, Gigi does not have a good relationship with her sister Layla at all. Gigi is an example of money cannot buy you happiness or a good child, because Gigi's family got all the money in the world to be helping people with stuff, but it seems like the daughters can't get along, all this different stuff. And I'm starting to really just believe at this point that Gigi's the problem, because it seems like she has a problem with everybody, operates in a very destructive and chaotic manner everywhere in her life, and then expects the people that she's caused chaos for to come and rescue her. So I guess because they're not cool. Child, why is her name slipping me in my head? MJ is a little concerned. They want to keep their little trio getting along, because when Reza or Gigi and I keep forgetting this girl's name, MJ, whenever they're not getting along, it's disaster. We'll come back to that when she talks to Gigi about it. There's not much we can say now. And this is why I may not be covering the show, because there wasn't anything. Sky and Bombshot go out to eat. And they discuss their issues in public. They shouldn't have gone out in public. And she's still mad at him for not defending her. And production asked her, so how long are you going to be mad? Which tells me production is irritated with her also. And she says as long as she needs to. And it's like, she's just taking no accountability. And the problem is Bombshot. I'm sorry. The problem is Bombshot. We could blame her parents. I don't think Sky was this sedity. I think that her husband helped her become this sedity.
Yes.
This is what I mean when I say don't marry no weak ass man. You want a man that's going to give you some pushback, because it's almost like raising kids or even a pet. You let them get away with too much, then when you finally do push back, they're going to lose their shit. And if you give in when they lose their shit, they're going to continue to lose their shit when they're not getting their way, because that's what you've taught them. The bitch needs a shot collar. I feel like I've said this before on another show, but Sky needs a shot collar. They're talking, nothing makes sense. And he gets frustrated. He did try to push back. He's like, I say sorry. I tell them that's my wife. You disrespect her. You disrespect me. She's like, no. He said, well, what the fuck you want from me?
Let me tell you what she want, Bombshot. This is what she want. Sky wanted you to flip that table over like Teresa Giudice did on Real Housewives of New Jersey. That's what she wanted. She wanted you to get in the men's face, point in their face, get all angry, and defend her delusions. That's what she wanted you to do. So the fact that you didn't do that, that's why she's angry. And the thing about you, Bombshot, is you knew your wife was fucking wrong. That's why you didn't do it. And that's okay. But you have to understand, having a united front is what she needed. As soon as she got up from the table, you needed to get your ass from the table. Mm-hmm. That's what she needed from you. So honestly,
he should have stopped Greg.
Yes.
Because Greg, what Greg was saying was correct, and Greg was only defending his wife.
Right.
Greg should not have been coming that hard at a female. Bombshot should have stopped Greg. Bombshot should have stopped Reza.
Yep.
That's what a man would do. That's what a man would do, period. So I can't understand why he cannot stand up for her. I don't get it. But he gets frustrated as she says, what? You're going to talk to me like that? You oh me. I said, the fuck is this? And the next thing I know, y'all, they start speaking some other shit. And I had to rewind it because it came out of nowhere. It came out of nowhere. That's how I know that shit was real. They start cussing each other out in Persian. And I'm not gonna lie, I was laughing because they try to argue, but I guess you can argue with your spouse in public if nobody knows what you're saying. I would have known they was arguing the way they was. But at least they changed the language so that nobody understood. But I thought that was the funniest thing. They're not going to get anywhere. And all Bombshot says is she's always been self-centered, but this is the wife he chose. Then don't, leave the show, because I'm not going to do this season after season if this show stays. You're not going to complain about your wife, but then when she snaps off in the wrong way and offends other people and they check her, now you suddenly want to, oh, that's my wife, I chose her. If you're not going to correct her at all, why are you here?
It's not even about it is about correcting her, but at the same time, you have to let her know that her ways are not normal and not conducive if she wants to have other relationships with friends and people when y'all are there by yourselves. It's not going to help. So yes, he needs to correct her, but at the same time, because she has such resentment towards him, I don't even think she will listen to the correction. Mm-hmm. I think that Sky has already made up in her mind that is her against the world, including Bombshot. And this is what pisses me off about her, because Bombshot, despite his lack of defense, towards his wife, he seems like a really good dude. And I don't understand what the fuck her problem is. I just don't. Unless there's something we not seeing that the cameras ain't showing behind closed doors when they not filming. I don't see what the fuck the problem is with him and her. Like, I just don't see it.
That's the
truth. And I just feel like, this is what you get, y'all. And once again, I say this all the time in other lives that I have. This is what happens when you marry women that are out of your league and you let them control and run amok up in the palace. This is exactly what happens.
Bombshot is handsome and could have pulled an attractive woman at any age, but I feel like maybe when he met Sky, like maybe he was like sensitive about his age or something, because he needs to leave. Or he could just be one of those, like, I have a friend who's like that. He's just passive. Like when he dates females, they be talking to him all types of crazy. But we're gonna move forward to some more foolery. Gigi, MJ, and Reza go to a weed cafe. It was a beautiful weed cafe. But, the beauty in living in California, and I speak for all Californians, is places like that to me are for tourists. Why do you need to go to a pretty weed cafe when you can literally go find a botanical garden in every major California city, drive to the ocean, go to the coast at sunset? You can have a free setting to get lit in all you want, just saying. But I'll digress. The only thing that came out of this is Gigi found a house that she really likes. The house is for sale, and she knows she can't afford the house because she doesn't have the credit to buy a house. So, which I'm wondering why she doesn't ask her dad to use his credit or something and pay, but maybe the family's getting wise to her foolery. Anywho, the house is being offered to sell, but they're also willing to lease it, which is smart and shows you how bad the market is right now in California. Yep. And the lease, if leased, is $14,000 and some change, basically, monthly. That's actually a good deal for where Gigi is looking and for California for that type of rent. However, Gigi cannot afford that. She cannot afford that. She wants Dennis to pay $3,000 of her rent every month, even though she's not sleeping with them. They're not together, and she just kicked him out in Palm Springs, and she has a business with him. She wants him to pay $3,000. Baby, if you're not sleeping with that man, or trust and believe, he's not just going to give you $3,000. And if he does, he's taking it out of your portion of the proceeds for your business.
She's not that smart.
No,
because this fool said, wait a minute, this is what cracked me up when she said, yeah, the $3,000, because that's alimony.
Girl, to get alimony, you got to be married for a very long time.
For a very long time. Like a very long time.
That's why we laughed at Portia.
Right. You
We supposed
get
to go get
listen,
alimony.
alimony. Listen, if the judge grants you alimony, the most he gonna do is the time that you were married. You was only married to this fool for 2 weeks. That judge ain't gonna give you no least long worth of alimony if he does grant you alimony.
Annulment.
Right.
2 weeks.
2 weeks, like for real. And then the thing about it is, you better hope if you do get him for alimony, let's say she has this plan to get him for alimony, all the judge got to do is play this shit back and see that your ass said the only reason you married him was to make your first husband jealous. So that is preconceived notions there, ma'am. So you're not smart at all. She's not smart. Like,
especially in California, if you're under 5 years of marriage in California, you're not getting shit unless you have kids. Unless you have kids, you're not getting shit. It's considered a junior marriage. And that's the thing people don't understand and why you have to be careful with who you marry. Because until you make it past 10 years, if you end up divorced, baby,
you leaving that marriage for what you came in with.
Yep. The state's going to say, you wasted our time. Don't expect nothing special. Pretty much. 3 years. You know how long it takes to get the names and documents and all of that merged and changed? Like, no. But that's really it with Gigi. They kind of look at her crazy. But MJ does mention she's going to be selling Gigi's sister's house. And Gigi gets mad. I was like, that's my family. Back off. I hate when friends do this. This is part of why I have a really close friend that I've known for a long time through James. Her family, I was very, very close to, like extremely close to. But the moment that they wronged me, she's like, because that's my family. And I'm like, oh, okay. That's fine. So I made peace and I never go around them anymore. And I told her, I am friends with you, not your family. So be respectful and kind, to family of your friends. However, I think it's also important to keep that safe distance because potentially if something happens or if your family has your friend fucked up because that's their blood, people always say blood's thicker than water, or a lot of people will feel inclined to choose blood. And I don't think people can get mad at that. But MJ, I think this is very messy. And Gigi said that her sister and MJ are best friends. But the way that MJ is explaining it is as if this is just a business thing because she needs to sell a house. It sounds like MJ is new to real estate, new to the agency. It's a bad market. And it sounds like she's trying to sell. But I don't understand why Gigi's sister couldn't go to someone else. So I do feel like MJ, if you know they have beef and you know that she doesn't want to be around her sister, you don't need to invite her to the mixer that you're having at the sister's house. Like if you are going to sell the sister's house, in my opinion, just sell it. You don't need to invite the show to the sale of the property, if that makes sense. Like separate the shit.
I see where you're going with this because to keep, the lines, clear, I understand what you're saying. But from the business aspect of it, because you don't know how long it's going to take to sell that house, I feel like
separate business from friendship. My point is not about her selling the house. I get that now that she has the listing, but I think MJ was wrong to take on the listing.
No.
Because the problem that a lot of people don't have to understand is business. If it comes to business, you shouldn't prioritize serious friendships or serious relationships over business, especially if you have the ability to get other listings. Now, if MJ were to say, I have no ability to get other listings, I'd be like, okay, that makes sense. But the fact that she does have the ability, I'm just like, it sounds like she's trying to sell whatever, which I respect, but you don't have to invite Gigi to the event.
No, she didn't have to do that. I don't even think I would have told Gigi, to be honest, because she's not mature. So I don't even think I would have said any. If it was me, I probably wouldn't have said shit. I probably wouldn't have said anything. She would have to find out through the grapevines. I probably wouldn't have said anything just because I don't feel like dealing with this immature ass lady. Like I just don't feel like dealing with her.
That's the thing too. If you're gonna operate like business, then operate like business from the beginning, MJ. And
sell
the house listed and don't talk about your listings because Reza is also in real estate. We've seen him help Gigi, but outside of Gigi, he's not talking about the other listings he has.
Right.
Showing us that. I think it's very important on reality TV. If you're going to bring your business on, be prepared to have your business as some bullshit. Other than that, keep it off. So if MJ cared to not have drama, she wouldn't have drama. MJ be messy too. I remember that from Shaw's of Sunset. MJ liked to play messy and then act innocent. sometimes. But I also think that Gigi, grow the fuck up. Her selling the house, you act like they're gonna party. Once the house is sold, that's it.
That's it. She get her commission check and getting the fuck on. Like that's why I said I feel like that. I wouldn't have said shit. Especially if I know that's how she gonna respond. I wouldn't have said shit. I guess she's trying to keep the peace, but baby, sometimes peace be still. Shut your ass up and be quiet and let her be in her delusions and smoke that pre-roll and go on somewhere. That's how you got to do it.
And I've been noticing they like to drop shit on Gigi when she's smoking. Y'all, why her weed not working? Okay, because I'm speaking up for every pothead. Don't be coming to us telling us shit while we in the middle of smoking. You have ruined my high before it did.
They did because they do be ruining her high. I noticed that too. Every episode, she be smoking that roll, and then next thing you know, they drop some shit on her. She frustrated again. They did it with Dennis. They did it. Sky did that shit at her house. Yes. Now they doing it here. I'm like, y'all is fucking up this lady's high.
Leave her alone, okay? Because I keep saying, what is she smoking? And now I'm starting to pay attention. I said, stop dropping bad news while the lady trying to get high.
Yeah.
The one time that Gigi was okay was when Sky talked to her after she was high.
Yeah.
And it was nothing but peace. And even Sky was like, okay. But I can't with MJ and Reza. Hi, Dia Rocks. I'm sorry it took so long for me to say hi, but I appreciate you being here. Lord help us. Whew. I laughed too hard at that just now because they keep doing that. But Reza texts Tommy. We'll see where that goes at the end of the episode. I'm over it. Like, Reza, I also kind of feel like, and y'all may disagree with me on this, but I kind of feel like once you press charges on someone and ask for a restraining order, the door is closed. Like, the door is closed, regardless if you have a right to. It's just very dysfunctional.
Well, here's the thing. It's unrealistic and inauthentic because when you think about it, you went through all this legal times, wasting people's tax dollars, all this kind of shit for something that you potentially could say, okay, well, we had a misunderstanding. I would have just told him, hey, replace my shit or I'm going to sue your ass. One of the two is going to happen. That's what would have happened with me. I'm not going to press criminal charges. I'm not going to go that far. But what is going to happen is, since I got your ass on surveillance, you either going to pay for it and replace my shit or I'm going to sue your ass. One of the two is going to happen. I don't need no criminal charges. I'm just going to sue. These are the times you get civil charges on people when they do goofy shit like this. That's not no criminal shit.
Yeah.
That's the time you do it.
That's the smarter thing to do too. Because if you go to civil court and win, then you can file for a garnishment and take every dollar that he made and have more than just your property replaced. So I'm just saying. But
because you get pain and suffering too. Yep, that's true.
You could get a lot more.
Don't
be stupid, y'all.
Don't be stupid. Yeah, exactly.
Patient, but I'd rather be patient for the long money than just seeing someone go to jail. That's vengeful when Reza's vengeful, but I'll digress. Natasha and Amir. Okay, throughout the episode, y'all, this is a normal married couple. Their biggest problem is a dead lady. I said what I said. Cancel me. It's the truth. Their biggest problem is somebody no longer walking planet Earth. They are good. I sense a lot of love. Their kids behave in every scene. Gigi's son is also okay. Sometimes he has his little moments, but he seems well behaved. Shams, send them over here, MJ and Tommy. I'll get them right. But their kids are well behaved. They seem to communicate. There's a lot of care it seems like they have for each other. They have their issues, but a lot of their issues seem to stem from grief. And I think when people are grieving, this is going to sound crazy. It could be the mental health worker in me, but I say when people are grieving, give them 10 years of patience. Okay, because it takes 7 years to grieve, and it's probably going to take them another 3 to come to terms with what they've done through their grief, and to discover who they are after the grief and through it. So,
did they ever say? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I feel like you should give people grace with that, so they don't really have too many problems. The only thing this couple discussed, which kind of annoyed me, they don't want to have a 4th kid because they have 3 children under the age of 6, which is crazy. I can understand them not wanting to have a 4th kid. Looks like Natasha is super into health. I am a woman that does not take birth control and will not go on it. When I took birth control, I almost lost my ability to have kids. Putting hormones into your body is not always a good thing. So I do agree with Natasha on that, but to each his own. And I also agree with her on the fact she has to have a period every 28 days, go through luteal phase. She has to carry a child for 9 months, and then she has to push the kid out or get it sliced out of her. And then she has to go through postpartum and wait 3 to 7 years to get her body back. So I absolutely believe if you're having too many kids and someone has to get a procedure, it should be the man, because all it takes is a snip that can be done in under an hour, that can be reversed compared to a major surgery or more babies for a woman. So I'm on your side, but I want him to stop bringing his ex into everything he does with his current, because at the end of this scene, he made a small comment about, and it was in a confessional, about how he doesn't want to have a vasectomy, basically because he has a fear. And it sounds like if something happens to this wife and he gets with another one, what if she wants kids? You probably don't want to tell your wife you don't want a vasectomy just in case something happens to her so you can get the next bitch pregnant, number one. And number two, if your reason for not wanting a vasectomy is because of fertility issues you went through with your wife who's now deceased from cancer, maybe the cancer was impacting her ability to get pregnant. I have heard that from some people before.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard some people find out they have cancer through trying to get pregnant.
Yeah.
So it could have been anything. He doesn't know, but I just want him to stop doing that. I don't want to spend too much time on him because I have to get to the other live, but please stop. But how did you feel about their little discussion?
I need to know two things, and then I have a comment. The first thing I need to know is, what is the time frame from when he lost that wife to when he married this one? I need to know the time frame, because to me, I feel like she is suffering a lot of, not necessarily vengefulness from him, but it's something he uses as a silver bullet where she constantly has to compete for his love and affection. And I have a problem with that, because, and that's why I said my comment the first episode, even though you and I went back and forth about it, I saw this coming. I saw this coming a mile away because of how he opened up to those men. I was listening to what he was saying, and I said, I feel like he jumped into that marriage without really thinking about it, because he wanted to be married. And this thing about the children, and it's the same thing with these children. He doesn't want to ever be stopped in anything that he wants to do, including if he wanted another baby, he wants to be able to do so and not have to be stopped with anything.
He can, though. You can get your vasectomy reversed.
But that's the thing. He's one of those people that if you put a stop to it, then that put a stop to everything, because he's lost something. So he doesn't think that way like most people do. I feel
like with this couple, the death stuff is like a small thing. I still think he's a great husband. I still think he's a great father.
Of course.
I do think that he was selective in his choice to marry her, because he did say he dated other people before her. So I do think that he was selective in his choice to be with her. My only complaint is I don't like how he brings up the spouse. It's almost like he can never let her have a moment without comparing her to someone who's not there.
Which is manipulation. Fair.
I don't think it's intentional on his part, though. I don't think he's intentionally being...
Maybe not all the time. In this conversation, I think it was. He
didn't say that to her, though. He said that to the confessional.
But it still was related to that situation.
It was, but if you're not saying it to your spouse, that's still you caring about it. And I think that a lot of people will I think it's hard to date someone who's lost a loved one. Like, not like losing a mom or a parent or a grandparent, but like someone that you chose to be with in life. I think it's hard to be with someone in that situation in general. But I think to say he's manipulative is going a little bit far. I agree with most of what you're saying, but I don't think he's manipulating her. I just think he didn't properly grieve and needs to go to therapy. But I don't think he's being intentionally manipulative. I don't.
Maybe.
Yeah, because I mean, that's not fair. Also, if people are grieving, but I don't know. It's also hard because Natasha and Amir, every single time we see them, and it could be production also, they're filming them discussing, like, what was the point in us seeing them put their kids to bed while she's curling her hair and he's brushing his teeth or whatever the fuck they were doing, and then even having this conversation? Like, it's giving they're trying to make them Danny and Nia from the regular Valley, But Danny
Yeah.
and Nia from the regular Valley, well, they have their red flags as well. I don't know. They're more likable. That's bad to say, but they're more likable.
Well, they don't have the impending trauma of
Mm-hmm.
one of them losing somebody. So I think that's they just have a problem with decisions long term. You know, it was kind of like they were disagreeing about the housing situation. They were disagreeing about the
This
kids.
couple has the money that Danny and Nia don't have, and less
Right.
kids, and less kids.
And less kids. Yeah.
Lord, they got hella kids. But it just shows the power of loss. That's why I say be kind to people who are grieving. But also, I feel like Natasha needs to hear this. Also, even though learn how to be empathetic for somebody else while also still putting yourself first. Natasha, I think, just has to figure that out. And I think they'll be okay. I think they have a lot of love between them. And I hope they work out in the long run. But if he keeps bringing up this dead lady, eventually she will get fed up. And I won't feel bad for him if she does, because
Me
that's not
either.
fair.
Because I'm already there. I'm already there with.
Sick of this shit.
Because to me, no, because to see her have to cry her own emotions over somebody she don't even know because she feels so bad for him being in that space. I'm just like, no, I feel like that's not the first time she's done that. That's why I'm like, no, I'm over that. Like, I
He's
need
been
him
doing
to,
it all season. We don't
yeah,
want to. Yeah.
right. I need him to not necessarily build a bridge, but I need him to stop laying that at her doorstep and trying. Because, like I said, it makes it look like he's comparing the two. And I know that's not what he's doing, but that's how it's coming off in some instances.
No, I'm gonna say I do think he is comparing the two. Like that's why I said the only part I disagreed with you on was the manipulation, but I do think he's comparing the two. He did it in his confessional in the scene. So he's comparing the two, and that's why I say he needs to get help, because that's not healthy and that's not fair. That's not fair. Even though people are grieving, what do we always say on both of our channels? Nobody's pain and nobody's stuff gives you the right to not be there the way you should for the people who matter to you, or to disrespect others. And it's not fair to compare anybody to anybody, even if it was like no dead wife.
Right.
You compare your spouse to someone, regardless on the type of relationship, that's not a fun feeling. And I do worry that she's going to watch the season back and
Oh,
see
she
that,
is. Yeah.
okay, what he didn't say to my face in the moment, what I thought, because it seems like what she thinks he feels and is going to say, he's saying in the confessional, but not to her face. So I'm curious how that will impact them at the reunion. But that might be the only thing worth watching from the reunion, but I'll digress. Lord. But yeah, I'm tired of them. It's getting depressing. It is. And I'm not trying to be mean. I've lost people very close to me, but I think one of the ways I move forward in life, we can't just talk about it constantly. That would be draining.
Right.
That would be draining and put you in a bad space. But you know, it is what it is. Tannen and REZA to me, and he apologizes immediately, which made me happy for airing the stuff that Sky and Tannen discussed. I was happy that REZA took accountability. REZA years ago would not have apologized so fast. So good for you, REZA. I'm not going over the rest. It was pretty much the same stuff. I don't want to talk about Sky, and James, don't laugh at me, because I know you were thinking this, like, how's she gonna do this? It's not worth it. All Tannen says is,
it's not.
If I don't see a drastic change, we're never going to go back to how we were before. Yeah.
Tannen, you are strikingly beautiful in the face. I love your makeup. I love your jewelry. I just love you. But I don't think reality TV is for Tannen. And I know you guys may look at me kind of crazy, but I don't think reality TV is for Tannen or Greg.
No,
I think they just
I
regular
agree with you.
LA people. Yeah,
I just feel like, to me, because they also don't fit to me the mold of whatever the show is trying to be. It's like we're looking at everyone mingle message like they did on their previous show. These two, because they have so much going on and they have real authenticity in their lives, I think that it is a little bit different for them. That's why I don't see them on this show. Like, I don't see them coming back. I just don't.
I also feel like Tannen and Greg still have a spark and can save their marriage if they just force themselves to sleep in the same bed, get off of TV, and see a counselor. And this is a change because
maybe he needs to find purpose too.
That's what it seems like. Also, he seems a little lost because Reza and some of the other guys, the group acknowledges that he still makes money. It just doesn't sound like he has that like stable job the way she does. But the way he behaves and the way he discussed their like relationship and stuff, the way they move, I thought that Bombshad and Sky, a couple episodes, I said I thought maybe they would be the ones that would make it, and maybe we didn't understand them. But now I'm looking at Tannen and Greg like maybe they will, but I don't know. I'm bored, so we'll move forward. Did you have anything to add about?
No, you can move on.
Well, damn. All right.
You can move on.
I'm trying, y'all. I'm trying to stretch it out, James. I'm trying really hard, but I'm a little bored. MJ and Tommy talked because Tommy responded to Reza. I was curious in this scene why the wife was painting the wall and he was standing there with a Coors Light. I was trying to figure it out, watching her do the work. But okay. Luckily, Tommy did respond to Reza like an adult. He said that he appreciated him reaching out and that he was open to speak to him once filming wrapped. Basically, Tommy said, "You're not going to use me for money, so I'm going to do it off camera to make sure it's legit." Smart. Unfortunately, while off camera, your wife left you, so now it's not worth it. But you know, that's cool. But they discussed their relationship and, you know, he suggests they go to therapy. It sounds like MJ, oddly, was the one who didn't want to do that. I'm not going to get into Tommy and MJ's discussion too much just because I feel like they can only show us in so many ways. This relationship should have ended when Shaws of Sunset existed, in my opinion. It just should have. I don't have much to say because they already are in real time today to divorced, or she filed. So I'm more so curious about what's going to come out at the reunion, but it seems like MJ knows she is not happy. She seems uninterested in him. He doesn't seem interested in her outside of the idea of their family. And I feel like we're watching a couple that knows that their marriage is done, but doesn't know how to pull the lever on the marriage. Like
they don't know how to pull the lever because they know they should. It's not like it's Kyle and Mauricio, where you could definitely still, they very much so want to be together and they're very comfortable with coexisting with each other while they figure their shit out. These two are tumultuous together. So yes, they need to pull the plug, and I'm glad that she did. Now, I actually thought, because you said that it was smart because he was saying it was off camera. I actually thought it would have been smarter if he did meet him on camera and make him admit to what he did and make him show how disgusting he was and reversed it on him versus, the accountability he need to take. Like, he does need to take accountability for fucking up that man's property. No, we get that. But it probably would have been a double-edged sword if he would have just met him up on camera and exposed him, because I would have did it. I would have
exposed.
No, well, here's the thing. The emotional turmoil of why he feels the way he does. Because Reza was wrong. I was...
No matter which way you put it, what he did didn't warrant the action. So Tommy would have lost that battle either way. I think that's why he avoids the camera.
Which is why I question...
It could have put him in a worse situation. And then he probably just would have added more lack of accountability and blamed it on him. I think it's smarter to be off camera. But I don't think the producers will like it, because why are you going to come on the show? I don't think they'll bring Tommy back once her and him are done.
But the reason why I say that is because Reza was the one to reach out and kind of clear the air first. That's why I said I would have given him that chance. I would have on camera.
I mean, because Tommy we're talking about. We're not talking about.
Yeah, well, I know.
If it was like any other show or any other husband on this show, I'd be like, okay, you need to be on camera. But with Tommy, I'm like, I don't even care.
Yeah, we don't care about him. But I'm just saying, if he really thought about it clearly, because Reza is the star of the show, can't do nothing wrong. But he was the one that reached out to you and wanted to clear the air. If he did the shit to you, what do you need to clear the air about? We're pretty clear on where we stand.
Made it clear on the show. The only reason he would reach out was for the benefit of his friend, because they've known each other since high school.
It didn't matter. She was still there regardless.
Even then, but there's no air to clear. That's what, like, What you're not understanding, the action that Tommy did, even if he would have came on camera, it would not have benefited him, because just because someone reaches out to you doesn't mean they're admitting fault and there's anything to flip.
No, I didn't say that.
It just means he's making peace for the sake of the friend. And all it shows is that Reza might give a fuck about his wife more than he does, which is a problem.
Well, that's obvious.
Yeah,
I mean, there's longer history. There's longer, placement
that way, but I
it shouldn't. But Tommy has other issues. That's just
Tommy himself needs like a clinical psychologist, a life coach, an inpatient treatment probably for at least 90 days, and a speech therapist to teach him not to talk so loud. That's what Tommy needs. But Natasha and Amir, they have a pool party. Reza tells the group before she comes in, because Reza's a friend of nobody, messy bitch. I'm calling him that. I don't like how Reza moves. He's very messy. He causes chaos, and then he acts as if he's the problem solver, or like he wants peace. He's messy and he needs to go do something. I'm getting tired of it. It's not fun. So he tells the group, talk shit about his friend Gigi and how she plans to have Dennis pay her rent. And he doesn't say it in a caring way. He says it to joke and talk shit. But of course, at that moment, Gigi walks in and she's like, why y'all talking about me? So she kind of went off to the side and didn't deal with everybody. But she threw major shade in her confessional and said, why are you guys talking about me? Like, move on and talk about your failing marriages. I said, Gigi, what you know? Give me the tea.
Okay.
Whose marriages are failing? Because well, aside from the obvious, whose marriages are failing?
I know. Give us the tea, girl. Hurry up and smoke that pre-roll and let it out.
Right. Please.
Yeah, come on.
If they don't touch on that at the reunion, I would be very surprised. They better touch on that at the reunion. But Bombshot arrives at this pool party alone, which was funny because everyone's like, oh, Sky didn't come. MJ's mama questioning the lifeguard was funny. I was also laughing at her in that hot ass shirt, them pants. Okay, the valley is hot, you guys. The valley is going into the desert.
Yes.
It is hot. It is hot. And that lady had on all types of layers of clothes. I was getting irritated. I wanted to push her in the pool. Too bad I wasn't there. But all that happens is everybody discusses Sky, and Bombshot ends up saying to MJ, well, you should reach out to Sky. People need to stop reaching out to Sky and just let her learn her lesson. That's pretty much where the episode ends. I wanted to see if James wanted to add anything before we got out of here, because that episode, y'all could have kept it.
Bombshot, why does MJ need to reach out to her? I'm just curious.
He is too. He doesn't know. He just
say shit to say shit.
Say it. He said, my wife, I'll be able to tell her that I told them to reach out. That's all he care about.
Right, because that made no sense. What the fuck did MJ do to her? There was something I missed, because I was like, if anything, I would have understood if he told Gigi, Reza.
Gigi already reached out.
I know, but I would have said, why don't you? That's true. Okay, never mind. I'll take away Gigi out of it then. Reza, the husband, which I think that's who Gigi was talking about, was them two. If we really on the, I think she was talking about them two. That's just my opinion. And who else on this damn cast? Or hell, maybe not even Natasha. I don't know who else. Bring her ass to the party so she can fight her own battles. Bombshot, you too late, too little, too late. She got to walk on her own feet, and
stop saying you stand by your wife as you come to an event with people that your wife don't mess with. Like,
right.
It's really that simple. That's it. And that's all.
Unless he know the optics of this check, and he like, look, we could use some extra money because your 10-page catalog.
Bombshot goes around them when this happens in general, because I know this has happened before. He's okay with this. But y'all, that's it for the Valley. We'll be back next week. I'm not going to lie. I'm struggling to get through it. I do not find entertainment when I'm watching this show. I don't. I'm going to keep recapping it because y'all want me to, but I do not find entertainment in this show. I hope it gets better. I was rooting for them. But if it doesn't get better, that's okay. James has Bell Collective back on his channel this weekend. We have Love During Lockup. Love and Hip Hop Atlanta will be back. We have other things. So we are looking forward to it.
We have a very interesting Real Housewives of Potomac reunion part 1 coming up. So yes, y'all make sure y'all come in.
I don't even that I'm not even looking forward to it, honestly. Potomac from the clips. But everybody like, share, and subscribe. Check out our new channel. We're gonna head into the Housewives of Beverly Hills. We'll see you next time. Shout out to the replay gang. And thank you. Adios.